Hello and welcome. In a series of videos, I'm going to show you how to master the installation, configuration, and management of pfSense. If we start with the first installation, you first need to get the ISO image from pfSense. So I've downloaded it, it's with me. What I'm going to do is to install the VM with the default initial configurations. I'm using VMware Workstation. I will start with file, new virtual machine. And then from the new virtual machine, I will use typical, and then I will select the installation file. This is in my documents here. So I'm getting the ISO image from there. It detects FreeBSD. Then if I say next, I'm going to call it pfSense. And I've selected a location in my computer to install files. So if I go to my C drive, and if I select the C drive here, I've created this folder, and this is empty. This is where we're going to install the file at the machine. So if I say next, I can leave it with 20 gig, but if I increase it to 30, it doesn't matter. I've got enough space here. Then if I say next, then I can customize the configuration or the change we need to do over here. So for example, I can leave the processor to be just 1, but memory is quite small, so I can go up to 2 gig, or I can go to 4 gig. It's actually quite big for pfSense. It depends on what you're going to use it for. And then I have a number of interfaces, and those interfaces, for example, in a simple lab, if you want to manage a small lab and learn how pfSense works, you might want to look at you might want to create a number of interfaces. So if I leave the first one and then create additional network adapters, and I say change this one to one of the adapters I have is VMnet1, and then I want to add another one, and that goes into VMnet2. If I add another network, and I will add this one to VMnet3, then the last one I want to add is VMnet4. So now the first one, I want to NAT it to my internet adapter, but actually I have another network, VMnet0, that's also connected to my internet, so I can leave it there, it's bridged. The rest, I can remove things I don't need, like the sound card, and if I need USB, I don't need this virtual machine, so I don't need USB, but I can leave it that one as well. And then if I say close, now we edited the hardware configurations, and then we can boot the machine, or we can just select that and finish it, just in case we need to change some other things before we boot the machine. So we see one machine with this configurations and one processor. Now if I start, it will start booting. Okay, so when the machine boots, it takes you to the installation, and if you say accept the terms and conditions, I can use the default install. So I say okay, and you can maneuver using the keyboard arrows, and I would go for the auto install, so it's still okay, and then we continue installation. And we don't want any redundancy, we just got one disk, so continue with the defaults. And then you have to click the spacebar in your keyboard that selects the disk you've allocated, then continue, and then it reminds you, I'm going to wipe out the content of this disk. Are you happy with that? Yes. You're going to format it, so click yes. Then the installation starts. It takes some time. Okay, so now the first part of the installation is complete. All we need is to reboot the machine, and we click enter. So at this stage, the first part of the installation is complete. We will start the configurations of the interfaces and other parameters, but for now that completes the first video. Thank you.